my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are coming from the Tangle Hall show, that are coming from TikTok and Facebook, you are so very welcome indeed. When I tell you that I live and love from Instagram, I live and love. I promised myself that I was no longer going to talk about Pastor Jamal and his beautiful wife Carrie in any context about the black dress. But it was not meant to be, my darling. When I tell you, this dress has taken legs of its own. You cannot stop it. Nobody can stop it. Not even Carrie that wore the dress. Sometimes that's just the way things go. And there's nothing you can do. So out here in these London streets, because I'm in England, I put Adrian to bed. I did a couple of things. I had like a little 50s facial because I'm going to be 57. I'm going to be 57 this year, my God. And so I said, you know what, Fumi, come and do your little facial. You know, your Juvia's place, your healthy hair studio. All of my treats, God knows I get them because in 3 years you're going to be 60. I woke up yesterday to a barrage. It was a barrage. I saw my phone flickering at night because I went to the bathroom. And I just thought, you know what, I don't want to deal with whatever it is. I'll deal with it in the morning. And so it became an avalanche by the time it hit 10 a.m. with the amount of Fumi Nation wishing me well, sending me love, sending me blessings, wishing me Happy New Year, that you saw me on the Tangle Hall show. So I said, wait 1 minute. What did I do? What did I do? And I went over to Tangle Hall on Instagram. And there we had the fabulous, the most exciting, the it couple of right now, cannot be denied. Pastor Jamal and his wife. And it had hit over 1.2 million views. And that traffic now was just trickling all over my social media. Yes, my darlings, homegirl was featured on the Tangle Hall show. And I just clutched my pearls. I clutched my pearls. And I said, oh wow, they're watching. Oh wow, for me. People are out here watching you. It was a good feeling. I felt that it was a little bit out of context because when I listened to Tamron, you know, she was very much like, oh, you know, they're hitting on you, Carrie. Oh, you know, tell us how your feelings. And I'm not hating on Carrie, never did. Pastor Jamal's wife, Dr. Carrie Bryant, they went to the mayor's mask ball and she wore a black strapless dress. Pastor Jamal came out to talk about how he bought that dress for his wife.
I needed to get this straight. I needed to deal with it head on. Because the other day the internet went crazy about a dress my wife had on. Insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded. The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing, I bought the dress. And I like it. I don't care whether you like it or not. She ain't mad to y'all. She mad to me.
The dress is absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous dress. I think that the dress really fitted her. She looked absolutely beautiful. She is shaped like a Coca-Cola. And if you were going to the BET Awards, if you were going to the Soul Train Awards, I would have said, go right ahead, Mamacita, do your thing. I think for me, and I felt was inappropriate for the event that she was going to, was the illusion of all the lines that had just sectioned off and were pointing towards her private area. There's no way you cannot look at it. It's all illustrated down to the crotch. And I think that was the inappropriateness of it, because it makes people feel uncomfortable to look at the first lady of the church wearing a dress of where your eyes now are drawn to her private area. I think that's what it was. Had this dress been plain black, with none of illustrations of the sewing garnished towards the crotch and then towards her bottom in the back, then this would have been not an issue. It was an issue because of how it alluded to what should be private for our beautiful Pastor Jamal. You're the first lady of the church and you hold a certain standard, and that standard has to be upheld even in the way that you dress, the way that you represent yourself. Wrong place, wrong person, wrong time. It's okay. We're over it now. I always said that the dress was beautiful. The dress is beautiful, but she's a pastor's wife. She's the first lady. And I really thought about it in the context of, if we had Catherine, Princess of Wales, here in England, would she wear the dress? She wouldn't. And let's not forget that Kerry has the most sensational hourglass figure, which already shows you how beautiful and sensual she is. Wearing that dress just compounded it and made it a balm. It made it a balm. There are other women who have more athletic figures, and perhaps that would not have brought so much attention because they don't have the sensual figure that Carrie already has. I said it in the video yesterday, I'll say it again. I don't care whether Miss Carrie, First Lady, has a BBL or not. Not my business. The mere fact is that she's got an hourglass, and you can wear literally anything with an hourglass figure and you're going to stand out because of the figure itself. I watched the episode, and that was kind of sort of why I said, let me do this episode. Pastor Jamal was asked all kinds of questions, and I'm just going to say this. You got to be careful. You have to be careful when you come onto platforms, when you speak and talk, because you can kind of sort of forget yourself, the excitement, the lights, the audience. I get it. And then the truth kind of sort of comes out. And I was like, but this is what we were talking about all the time. Tamron Hall asked him a couple of things, because he had gone on to say that I bought the dress.
She walks out of the room in the dress.
Yes.
Before the event, was the first time you saw her in the dress?
Yes.
And he could have rightly bought the dress, given Carrie the money to buy the dress, whatever dress that she wanted. But he did not choose the dress, because Tangle Hall asked him that, were you seeing the dress for the first time on her? He said, when she came out of her dressing room, that was the first time I was seeing her with the dress. Which means that you might have seen it on a hanger and you have said, okay, fine. But you were actually seeing it for the first time on her. You bought it, but you did not necessarily choose the dress. That is one, that's okay, because, you know, as far as I am concerned, he had to support his wife. I forgot to mention it in the first episode. He had to support his wife. These two right here are lovey-dovey. They've only been married a year. They had their wonderful Wicked theme wedding. I found that out yesterday, hence why she was in pink, because she would have been the Ariana Grande, while we had our wonderful pastor in green. He would have been the Cynthia Erivo. So I got it, and I still thought beautiful. His green suit, gorgeousness. Tamron went on to talk about a pastor who had said that Carrie looked like a $2 do-da-do. I'm not going to say it on this channel, not because of YouTube, but I thought that was a lot. I thought that was so uncalled for. I thought that was rude. That was disrespectful. We can critique a dress. I critique fashion on this channel all the time. And as you very well know, I always pause. I really digest it and see how I'm going to come out and describe what I'm looking at, so as not to hurt people's feelings, so as not to make them feel bad. Absolutely not. At the end of the day, it's just a dress. Do you remember Elizabeth Hurley wore a Versace dress? You saw how that went through the roof. Jennifer Lopez wore, again, a Versace dress, went through the roof. I think that this is kind of sort of the first time that we have a woman of color, a black American woman, a pastor's wife. All of these accents just drove this story to the pinnacle. Everybody covered it, and it transcended to mainstream news. It was on so many magazines, and I think it just really drove it. And of course, the team of Tamron Hall said, this is serious, we gotta cover it. And so they did. Sherry Shepherd also covered it. She said, Carrie, I know you're in town, come on through, but don't forget to bring the dress. I lived and loved. It just had a life of its own. I promise you, come this year Halloween, people are going to emulate that dress and wear it down the streets. That's how this dress took a life of its own. And in the interview, I 1,000,000,000% believe that Carrie had no idea that this dress would go down the way that it did.
Did you have even a sliver of doubt before you walked out to go to the event about the dress and that it might create a stir?
People have said, oh, you know, she knew it would get this reaction. My ego is not that big.
Wow.
I don't dress for people. I dress for myself and for my husband.
I still stand by what I stand by. I still said what I said for her. The dress with the lines, very much like a Webster, was directed to her crotch. Jennifer Lopez just wore a similar dress for her Las Vegas residency. But she's a celeb. She's a star. You can see this on Beyonce. You can see this on Cardi B. You can see this on Megan Thee Stallion. But a wife, first wife of the church, it's a no-no. Whether it's your personal life, whether it was at a gala, whether it was at the church, it transcends. And that was why I said, Catherine, Princess of Wales, would she wear this? She cannot. She is the princess, the future king of England. And so, my darling, you are royalty. That's how you are perceived in the church. You are royalty. You are the first lady. What did I think about what Carrie wore to the show? I thought it was fire. It was stylish and it was very becoming, and it accentuated her figure. I loved her hair. I felt that the lip was a little bit too strong, but it was still nice. I think if she had worn a nude lip, it would have looked gorgeous, but I thought she looked absolutely divine. I loved the buttons, you know, on the jeans, dress skirt, and then it was tied in the back. I thought that was everything. Pastor Jamal, I didn't like the outfit. I didn't like it. I thought it was too trendy. I would have liked him just to be really clean. A polo neck, black velvet trousers with his shoes. Mwah! He would have been sharp. He would have been what? He would have been sharp. On top of which, when we looked at what Carrie wore last year to this gala, she wore a red dress, and it was kind of sort of similar to her wedding dress because it was accentuated at the bust. But it was beautiful and it was opaque, meaning that it was one standalone color. And I've said that about this dress. Had it been one standalone color, copacetic, we would have lived, we would have what? We would have loved. To round up this episode, what really made me look at Pastor Jamal with a side eye. I couldn't believe what he said, as a matter of fact. Tangle Hall asked him that when you first saw your beautiful wife come out and two of you were to get ready to go for the gala, what were your first thoughts? And he said, do we have to go out?
She walks out of the room in the dress.
Yes.
Before the event, was the first time you saw her in the dress?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Why do we need to leave?
Initiating that she looks so damn sexy. I want to keep you home and make endless love to you. That was how I interpreted it. Now, if that's how you felt, then you can understand how we saw it. That was the point of it. It doesn't matter that it was opaque mesh underneath. It doesn't matter that it had a mesh top. Somebody corrected me in the comments, said, Fumi, it was not a strapless dress. It was mesh on top. Because it was too sexy. You said it yourself. You say, can we stay at home? Because why? Because it was too sexy. So Pastor Jamal, we just caught you in a lie. And again, you added to the fire because you were at the pulpit and you fired off and said, just because you ain't been nowhere. Just because you haven't been introduced to nothing. That's why you don't know no better.
I needed to get this straight. I needed to deal with it head on. Because the other day the internet went crazy about a dress my wife had on. Insecure, jealous, petty, small-minded. The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing, I bought the dress. And I like it. I don't care whether you like it or not. She ain't mad to y'all, she mad to me.
And I think that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It didn't rub me up the wrong way because I love you as a couple. I wish you the best. I hope and pray that you are together for the end of your days. And I will continue to critique fashion because that's what I do. But that has nothing to do with you as a person. So I think what happened was when you fired back on the pulpit on a personal level, again, you added more kerosene to the fire and it just flooded forward. So that is it, my darlings, in a nutshell. Have I forgotten anything? I'm just trying to remember everything because really I am so done. I'm so done. But if anything comes up, we'll come back and address the dress again. All of my loves, darling. Thank you, Fumi Nation. You bring tears to my eyes. There were a couple of Fumi Nation supporters at the Tangle Hall show, and they said they screamed when the image came up of me, the video came up of me. They couldn't believe it. And it's because of you. If you tell me, Fumi, you're going places, my God, it's because of you. And thank you so much. Thank you. You are everything to me. You will never know how deep I feel about it. And when little things happen like this, it just makes me all warm inside. A lot of you said, for me, you get your own show and we're going to make it different. It's going to be so much about you as well. And from your mouth to God's ears, we'll wait and see. But until then, I'll keep on doing what I'm doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the best wishes. It was a wonderful start to the year. And may it continue for all of us. May we all win in 2026. All of my love. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button. And I'll see you what? I'll see you sooner than later. All of my love.